I think we're rolling. Hi. If you're watching this video, it either means you know me in real life, which is slightly embarrassing for me, or you're someone who's suffering with acne, or you know someone who's suffering with acne and you're looking for advice. So I promised myself I would film a YouTube video when I cleared my skin, because when I was going through the worst of it, I turned to YouTube for advice, and that's actually how I got from this horrible acne to where I am today. So by making this video, I hope that I'm able to help at least one other person who's going through what I already went through. So I'm gonna try to keep this video to a reasonable length and shorten like a decade's worth of time into just the major bullet points. I'll place a timestamp in the description if you just want to skip ahead to see what I changed, but I feel like talking a little bit about my journey and experience will help some people if they can relate and they had similar things. Say hello. Okay, goodbye. So I also want to disclaim I'm not a dermatologist and I'm not a doctor, so all the advice that I give in this video, it's just what worked for me. And everybody's skin is different. I found that out the hard way when I tried things that worked for some people, but they weren't working for me. So if you're following the advice of a doctor or a dermatologist, I would suggest you continue to do so. But a lot of the things that I changed were lifestyle changes that I think overall might be something worth trying because they're not harmful. So in middle school and high school, my skin was pretty much entirely clear. I got like an occasional breakout, but it was nothing that Proactive couldn't get rid of if I used Proactive consistently. It wasn't until around 2011, my first year in college, that I really started to get acne that was bad and would not go away with Proactive. I think it was the combination of just being under a lot of stress from a heavy class load and like being in sports and different other activities and just really poor diet in college. I think that is what contributed to my acne getting much worse once I entered college. So eventually I started seeing a dermatologist who prescribed me a bunch of topical washes and lotions and creams and all the stuff, and nothing seemed to help. It only seemed to make my skin worse. It was more aggravated, it was irritated, dry, painful, and just getting progressively worse. So they put me on an antibiotic, and the antibiotic actually worked. It cleared my skin entirely, and as you'll see in the photo, I had no breakouts at all. I was so happy. I thought that I was done, and then one of the side effects of this antibiotic was the potential for a stomach ulcer, which I did get, and that was not fun. That was so painful. I do not wish that on anybody. So at that point in time, I had to stop the antibiotic and I had to just see if my skin had been cured. No surprise, my acne came back, and it came back so much worse. So just like an antibiotic for any other condition, it's not something you're meant to take long term. It's supposed to be a short term, let's get the issue under control, then you get off of it and continue to live your life. So it wasn't feasible for me to continually take antibiotics. So I still continued to use all the topical treatments, you know, benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, isotretinoin, clindamycin, like you name it, I've tried it, I guarantee you. And from 2013 on, my skin was just getting progressively worse and worse and worse. So between 2013 and 2015, 2016, I saw a few more dermatologists, and basically each one was recommending that I go on Accutane. For those of you who don't know what Accutane is, it's a super powerful anti-acne medication, but it is only prescribed for people who have severe acne, who have exhausted all other treatment plans. There are a ton of side effects, and it's really rough on the body, and not only that, it's not guaranteed to work. I'll leave some articles in the description box that talks a little bit more about it in case anyone is interested, but there were a lot of reasons why I didn't want to go on it at the time. So to avoid Accutane, I started searching around for natural treatments for acne. I bought so many books, I bought so many face washes, masks, lotions, creams, vitamins, all the quick fix products that they say, like, you just need this one pill and Your skin's gonna be clear. I even tried eating raw garlic on an empty stomach because I read that that would cure acne, which it did not, and it was so painful. Do not recommend. I would drink gallons and gallons of green tea thinking that that would help. I'm not exaggerating when I say I think I spent like over $5,000 on acne products and medications that I thought would help, and nothing did. It was just a waste of money. I was starting to get depressed about my skin, and I know that sounds really vain, but acne is something that you usually experience as a teenager. So me being in my mid-20s, I just felt really alone. And then on top of that, no one in my family had acne. None of my friends had bad skin. So just everywhere I looked, it was people with perfect skin, living their lives, not caring. And that was hard. It was really hard. Making this video puts me in a vulnerable position because I am talking about my biggest insecurity and opening up to people that I don't even really know well. But I'll be honest, I felt really ugly and I thought that anytime anyone looked at me, they were just looking at my skin. They weren't seeing me or my personality. I remember that I would like cake on the foundation on my skin, trying to hide blemishes. If it was hot out, I would avoid doing anything too strenuous because I didn't want to sweat my makeup off. I even stopped going to the gym because I didn't want to be seen without makeup working out. I wouldn't go swimming in the summer. I wouldn't go in the ocean. I wouldn't go in pools. And if I had to, I would wear makeup in the pool. And when I got out, I would put it on again. And then I remember being in college and I got the dumb idea that if I just wash my face constantly, there's no way oil can build up. So like an addict, every hour I was washing my face. I remember after class, I would go to the bathroom, wash all my makeup off, scrub my skin, which looking back is such a bad idea, and then pat it dry, reapply makeup, go to class. And I did that multiple times a day. It literally controlled my life. It was so bad, such a horrible habit. Not to mention, it was only making my skin 1,000 times worse. So throughout all these years, I did continue to see more dermatologists. I went on a few rounds of antibiotics. I've probably done at least 3 or 4 rounds of varying antibiotics. And of course they worked in the moment, but then it always came back whenever I stopped them. I remember one dermatologist in particular. He was awful. He made me cry. But I was in his office really emotional because I hated the way I looked and nothing was working. And he basically was like, your only option is Accutane or having acne for life. Some people have acne, some people don't, and you're just someone who has it, so you're just gonna have to deal with it because this is your life and you're gonna have to have this forever. There's no such thing as a cure. And that was hard for me to hear. Like I still get a little choked up thinking about that moment because I was really depressed, and to have someone just tell you that this is your life, deal with it, it was hard. So after this appointment was when I was really fed up with dermatologists, and I'm not hating on dermatologists. I know that there are some good ones out there. I have just had a bad personal experience. So I turned to YouTube and I started researching again. I started researching people my age who were going through what I had been through to see if there was anything that I could try that was maybe more natural, that didn't require prescriptions. So around 2015, 2016, I came across a video of a girl talking about how she drank apple cider vinegar and that cured her cystic acne. And at this point I had nothing to lose. So I bought apple cider vinegar and I diluted it with water and I drank it maybe 4 times a day for 3 to 4 months. And if anyone has tried that stuff, it is disgusting. It tastes horrible. It burns your throat. It burns your stomach. It's not good for your teeth. That's why I don't necessarily recommend this. But to be honest, it did work. My skin got pretty much completely clear from doing this. I can't tell you why it worked. I would just assume that it had the same effect as an antibiotic where it just was killing everything in my gut. I don't know. But As soon as I stopped drinking the apple cider vinegar on a regular basis, my acne came back. And it started to get progressively worse. And so around 2017, I bought more and I tried it again. I was like, well, I guess I just need to keep drinking it. But this time around, it did not work. No matter how much I drank, my skin did not get any better. It probably got worse. I continued it for a few months and nothing helped. It just wasn't working anymore. So between 2017 and 2018, I think is the worst that my skin has ever been, which you can see in these photos. So around then, I turned back to YouTube for advice to see if there was anything else that I could try, any other natural things that weren't as abrasive as drinking apple cider vinegar every day. If you do any research on acne, a lot of articles will say that diet has no correlation to your skin. So when I found a bunch of people on YouTube talking about having a gluten intolerance and that is what was causing their skin to break out, I was really skeptical, and at first I didn't think it would help, but I was willing to try anything, so I cut out gluten. After being gluten-free for maybe like a few weeks, I actually did notice that my skin was improving. I was getting less breakouts, still having some, but definitely less, but my skin used to be always red and inflamed, and I noticed that that was dying down and my skin was like becoming more skin color. Just as a side note, a couple years ago I did go to a doctor and got a blood test where they told me I'm allergic to wheat, which wheat is in gluten, so technically I am like slightly intolerant to gluten, so that's probably why my skin went from bright red to normal color when I cut out gluten. And this is something that I still follow today. I don't eat gluten. So cutting out gluten did help, especially in getting my skin back to its normal color, but I was still experiencing active breakouts and my skin was getting worse and worse. So around 2018, I came across a YouTuber. Her name is Cassandra Bankson, and I'm actually gonna link her channel below because she has been a huge resource for me throughout this entire journey, and even now, after having clear skin, I still go to her videos for advice on what products and ingredients I should be looking for. But basically, she made a video talking about how going vegan helped clear her skin, and that combined with someone that I followed on Instagram was talking about how being dairy-free really helped their skin. The two of those made me think, why not give it a try? I have nothing to lose, let's just see. Prior to this, I really wasn't eating a lot of dairy. I actually don't like milk at all. I'm not obsessed with cheese or butter or anything, so I didn't think there was a lot in my diet to cut out. So I didn't have high hopes for this, but I gave it a try and I cut out all dairy, every single piece, like not even a drop of butter on anything. Cut it all out for a week, and within the first week I noticed that I was not getting any new breakouts, which was shocking to me. Around this time I was getting a new breakout probably like 4 or 5 a day, and they were just compounding on top of one another, which caused me to have such severe acne covering my whole face. So when I noticed that I wasn't getting any new breakouts, I was shocked, and I decided, well, let's see how far we can take this. As the months went on, I continued to not get any more breakouts, and my skin went from this to this. That change was so dramatic. I still don't believe it. I should also mention that around this time I cut back on the amount of sugar I was eating because I seemed to notice that that was helping a little bit. So all in, the 3 lifestyle changes that I made were cutting out gluten because I was allergic to wheat, cutting out dairy because it's inflammatory, and I cut back on sugar. I still eat sugar to this day. I just try to eat less of it for not only my skin, but overall health. It's not great for you. So those were the 3 things that I think had the biggest impact on me clearing my skin. I'd say I'd credit the lifestyle changes that I made 85% of what got me to clear skin, and the remaining 15% would be the products that I started using. I remember when I had acne really bad, I used to think that products were everything, and whatever I was putting on my skin was causing me to either get worse or I just wasn't using the right product to get clear skin. I hadn't found the quick fix product yet. Now looking back, I know that that is not the correct thinking. Products aren't everything, so if anyone is struggling with acne and you're watching this video, the products that I'm about to mention, they're just what worked for me. They're really basic. I don't have a crazy skincare routine. It's super simple, but it really is just what works for me, and I would suggest focusing more on what you put into your body rather than what you put on your skin, because I think that that has a bigger impact. So like I mentioned earlier, I had been prescribed so many different topical face washes, creams, lotions, spot treatments, all of it. I cut it all out. I stopped. I wasn't seeing any improvement from them. If anything, it was making my skin worse. It was feeling red and inflamed and dry. So I decided I would switch to maybe a more natural skincare. So this is another area where Cassandra Bankston's videos really help me out. They help me figure out what ingredients I should be looking for in products and what ingredients I should be avoiding if I have acne-prone skin. So now my skincare routine is super simple. Step 1, wash my face. I use this face wash by a brand called Hippie. I just found that that face wash had good natural ingredients in it. It doesn't irritate my skin, and it doesn't strip my face of all of its oils. It leaves my skin feeling soft, and it's an overall gentle cleanser that I really like. So the next thing that I do after I wash my face and I dry my face is I put on a moisturizer. And when I had really bad acne, I used to think that moisturizer was moisturizer was bad. I used to think that if I put moisturizer on my skin, it was clogging my pores, causing more breakouts. But in actuality, moisturizer, I think, is the most important step of a skincare routine. After you wash your face, you are removing some of the oil that your body naturally produces, especially if you just came out of a hot shower. That can really dry your skin out. And if you don't moisturize your skin afterwards, your body wants to naturally compensate by producing more oils. And this was something that I did not understand, especially when I was in college and washing my face every hour. At that point in time, I remember I couldn't go 8 hours without washing my face because my skin was so oily, because my body was just producing more and more oil. So if you have acne, or even if you don't have acne, I highly recommend you moisturize your face. I think it's super, super important for skin health. I've tried many moisturizers, and what I have found works best for me personally are oils. So I use both jojoba oil or squalene oil interchangeably. I found that both of those work for me, and these oils mimic my body's naturally produced oil. So I found that they really hydrate my skin without clogging my pores. This is the one I'm currently using. It's a squalene oil. It's by the company Biossance. I think you can get that cheaper. I think that there are some other brands that sell squalene oil for a cheaper price, so you don't have to buy that one in particular. Squalene oil is squalene oil. You don't have to buy it from that particular brand. That's just what I happen to be using right now. And that's it. That's the end of my skincare routine. I wash, I moisturize, and I go to bed. I also don't wash my face in the morning, which I'm not going to dive into now because I don't think it's relevant, but I really just wash my face, put moisturizer on, and go to bed. I have tried various toners, but I've never found one that is, in my opinion, worth the money or worth the effort. I haven't really found anything that is that wonderful. So I don't think it's something you necessarily need in your skincare routine, but I'm not a dermatologist. This is just what works for me. And I'll also leave some links in the description talking about jojoba oil and squalene oil more in case you're interested in reading up on them and seeing which one might work for you. So that about sums it up. It's been a long time coming, and there were many times where I thought that I would have to live with acne forever, and that was just my life, and I had to accept the way that I looked, and since 2011 my skin has come so far, and it's far from perfect. I'm not wearing any foundation on my face right now because I wanted you guys to actually see what I look like now. So I'll zoom in if I can. Whoa, we're up close. So as you can see, I still have a ton of scarring and hyperpigmentation, but I don't really care. My skin is so much better than it used to be, and I do get like an occasional breakout or two, but nothing like how it used to be. I can honestly say that the last year and a half, 2 years, I genuinely feel comfortable in the skin that I'm in. I'm not ashamed of what I look like. I'm not embarrassed to be seen without makeup. I'm just happy with where I'm at, and my skin is not flawless, but it's a heck of a lot better than where I started. So thank you to anyone who watched this video. Once again, this is a real insecurity of mine for a long period of time, so talking about it has made me nervous, but I really felt like it was something I should do because when I was going through the worst of it, I was looking to YouTube for help, trying to find people, real people, who were going through what I was going through, and had suggestions that maybe I could apply to my life without the help of a dermatologist, and stuff that would be lasting results. And I want to be a resource for someone else because I've tried a lot of things. I condensed a very long timeline into a short video, but I promise you there are so many things I didn't talk about. So if you have questions about a product, about a lifestyle choice, about a medication, feel free to reach out to me and I will give you my honest opinion. I do have a lot of experience in this area, not by choice. But if you can only take one thing away from this video, I would say look at what you're putting into your body, see if dairy or gluten is inflammatory to you, and if not, try an elimination diet or see an allergist and see if there's any foods that are aggravating you. Because throughout this journey, I have learned that it's not so much what you put on your skin, it's more about what you put into your body. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me personally, leave a comment. And that's it. Thanks again for watching.